Hi there, Sandra here from Createinspain, and today I've got my Juliet on the table in front of me, all plugged in. I normally don't have it here, it's normally behind me because this is where I do my filming, putting things together. So I've had my Juliet now for about 2.5 years, I guess, coming up to 3 years, and I'm very happy with it. I like my Juliet. I do use it with Cricut Slot 6 because I prefer that software, but that's a matter of personal preference. So on the front of it, here we have the on-off button, we have the screen here, we have the lid, we have the front plate that drops down. This is the carriage, complete with the blade holder and the clamp. If I tip it, you can see the insides a little bit better. What I tend to do on an occasional basis is I do grease these metal components here, both of them, very lightly because you don't want grease plopping onto your work. But I use a special machine lubricant which actually came with my laser and it's specially designed for putting onto rails and things. It's probably just a normal silicone lubricant. It's kind of like a gel. I put it on there and it helps things run smoothly. You don't ever want your rails to be completely and utterly dry. So the other thing that you can see from here on this part here are the black pieces, which are the grit shafts. Now the grit shafts are very important. Your rollers, these things, have to be located above a grit shaft if they are being used. You'll notice this one at the moment is not over a grit shaft and therefore it is not being used. I never use the middle roller anyway, but if I were to use it, it would be going over a grit shaft. If your rollers are not over a grit shaft, they will not hold the mat securely and you will not be pulling the mat backwards and forwards properly. And you will get bad cuts, and it's quite a high probability your mat will skew all over the place. So if your mat is moving from side to side, not going through properly, check that your rollers are over the grit shafts. Okay, so if I turn it this way so you can see the back, we have the mechanisms for the rollers, i.e. these things here, carriages for the rollers. And we also have this lever here. Now, contrary to popular thought, having the lever in the upward position on this machine does not raise the wheels, it lowers them. So if you want to move your wheels, you do that. Don't flick it. If you start flicking this up and down on a regular basis, you're going to break something and then you'll be after spare parts. So don't do it. Just move it gently, either up or down, depending on what you need. Now, these things here have a couple of different settings. They can be raised and they can be lowered. And I forget which way round it is because I never actually do anything with them. I leave them in the same position. One position puts a stronger force on it than the other one does. I suspect it's probably, since that does it the reverse way, that if you put the lever up, there's more force on the roller. I have never needed more force on the roller. Never, ever. It has a very strong grip. And again, I do grease this occasionally. All right, so I move these from side to side, put a little bit of grease on, and then move them again just to grease. Don't do it very often, probably done it, I don't know, twice in all the time I've been using the machine. But if you're using the machine a lot every day, mine is more sort of like occasional use or several times a week for a couple of hours or something like that, then you might want to do it more regularly. It's just worth checking that they're not running dry, okay? So open the machine up, switch the machine on, and this is what automatically comes up. This is my symbol to show the Wi-Fi. This is the home button. These arrows here control, like so. If I want this to go to the home position, press that and it goes, tucks over in the left hand side. We have our basic settings, general settings, Wi-Fi settings, camera settings, USB, and the system info. So it's all pretty simply laid out. Now the camera has a light all of its own. At the moment, the light you can see on here is the machine lighting, but this button here controls the camera lighting. So camera light is now off. On, medium, high, off. All right, so on, medium, high. You have the cut settings, which are for the blade settings and the speed settings and things like that. Oh, and the other one is, which is important, is the test cut. The test cut cuts out a little t-shirt shape with a circle in the middle. When you do a test cut, make sure that it cuts out the circle in the middle as well as the t-shirt, and most of the time you'll then find your cuts are okay. That's useful. You want the cut setting. Only takes about a centimetre, square centimetre I think, something like that, and that is what it does. So the next thing that I want to show you is the clamp. You undo the clamp if it's already got something in it, and that curved grip goes over the top of here, all right? It doesn't go underneath it, it goes on the top. So it goes over that and clamps on, and you screw it in tight. This is what my blade looks like when I'm cutting thin paper. I can literally put it over my finger and I can barely feel it. If your blade is sticking out like that, for example, you can see it glinting now, is out too far, okay? Very few things require you to stick out your blade very far at all. You only ever want to put your blade out to the thickness of the material that you are cutting, and usually a little bit under that, because the pressure forces it down into the surface. So if you're cutting vinyl in particular, you don't really want to see your blade. It generally wants to be unseen practically, and then you'll get better cuts. Always increase your force before you increase the amount of blade. The settings on the machine are a guide. I find, they're a good starting point, I guess, but everyone's blades are slightly different. It's manufactured, and some blades are going to be slightly different, so just use it as a guide, not as a definitive. If I were to put a mat in here, you wouldn't be able to see the grit shaft. So what I've got is a piece of, I think it's probably polypropylene, I don't know. It's quite tough. It's like, it's actually bookbinding material. But it's pretty tough, and you could actually use it as a cutting mat if you wanted to make it sticky, you could use it. So in order to have your mat gripped properly, you want both grit shafts, now I've got to move this back again, you want both grit shafts to be on your mat or your material. You want it to be on the edges of your material or your mat. You don't want to make it travel over the sticky part. So in this particular case, my grit shaft goes all the way up to here. So I could put that all the way up to here if I didn't have a sticky mat. This area wasn't sticky. But generally speaking, what will happen is I will put it so that it is in that position to the mat. So there's the end of my plastic, there's my roller. Hopefully you can see that one is over the other. In this particular case, I'd already moved my roller, so this roller here is also on the very edge of the mat. So it's not going over the edge, it's to the edge of the mat. And I can pull on that hard and it's not moving, it's not going anywhere. It's gripped. And this one isn't being used, so it's out of the way. Now what you may have noticed, or maybe you didn't, just take this out again, is that on my machine I've got a plastic block. I don't know if you can actually see it. I've got a white plastic block in there, and that is effectively keeping the springs from doing the job of operating the lever. You can, if you don't want to have 3 levers, and I certainly don't, I've never needed 3 levers on this machine, you can, if you're careful, carefully remove those springs, put them to one side, so that if you do want to use them at some stage later on, you still have them. But do it very carefully because they're strong springs and they're going to go bing, and you don't want one of those in your eye. So if you are going to remove it, be very, very careful. What about maintenance for this other than keeping this couple of rails greased? There isn't an awful lot except for keeping your wheels clean. Now, if they're not going over sticky areas in the first place, they shouldn't get too messed up. I hadn't cleaned mine probably for a good 6 or 8 months. I cleaned them yesterday, but they weren't very dirty anyway. To clean them, use a lint-free cloth. These cloths are ones that I've had for doing things like my computer screen and things like that. They don't have any lint. And some rubbing alcohol. And in order to clean them, what I do is lift this back up again. I need to keep my rollers lifted because I couldn't do it otherwise. I put a piece of plastic underneath the roller so that there is no chance any liquid can get down inside. All right, it can't do it. And you simply put some alcohol on there and you just give it a wipe. You let the wheel rotate and you wipe it until it's nice and clean. Easy to do, no problem. But you do want to make sure that they're kept clean because sticky rollers means that they don't travel on the mat well and they can get debris on them and then that causes problems. Yeah, just keep them clean. It's not difficult. So if I was to pretend this was my mat and I've got it under there, how do you keep your mat straight? It actually is a lot easier than you might think. If you have a mat which is machine cut, as they all are, it's going to have a straight edge. So all you need to do is to put it up to this edge here and it's going to be straight. You might need to move it side to side. I didn't get it quite in the right place there, so I move it over, pull it forward, it's straight, and then the lever can come up and it's now gripping the mat and I can go backwards and forwards. There we go. Now regarding this stuff, if you happen to have any, I keep this on hand for various uses. I make stencils out of it and all sorts of stuff. But it's also very handy if you just make a small portion of this sticky when you're doing little remnants of either, well, it could be card, but it's more likely to be something like a self-adhesive vinyl or HTV or something like that. You can put it in the middle here and you can then do it with a relatively small mat. It's just quite convenient desk space wise to have a small mat to put to one side if I'm doing small things rather than having big mats to put to one side if I'm doing small things. So you can use the repositioning glue to make an area on a small piece of this stuff to act as a cutting mat. It's pretty tough stuff, and if you are cutting vinyl or paper, something like that, you would actually have a pretty hard job to put it up to a high enough pressure accidentally to cut through this. This normally takes a couple of goes to go through it if I'm trying to cut it, let alone if I'm not trying to cut through it. Just a little hint and tip there. Your origin point on these machines is the bottom left corner of your material, not the bottom left corner of your mat. This mat goes in. The machine has no way of knowing where your paper is other than if you put the blade over the corner of it. So you would move it to the corner of your paper, like so, pretending my paper is there. Once that is stopped, when you set your machine to go, that's where it sees the origin point as, not the top left as in some machines, and not the bottom right as in some machines, but the bottom left. You have a choice when you have a machine like this, whether you use the controls in the software to send it to cutter, or whether you send it to the cutter and you use the machine settings. I suggest that you choose one or the other, because if you choose one and then go to use the other and then go to back one and forward one, and you're going to end up using the wrong settings and you won't realise it, and you think, oh, I got a bad cut, machine's not working, or it's not cutting properly, and that isn't the case. You're just using the wrong settings. As far as I'm concerned, it's a lot easier on software, but it's a matter of personal preference. Just decide which one you want to do. I think that is just about it for today. That should get you going, and enjoy your cutter. If you haven't used it yet, if you've just got it in the box, or if it's on the table just looking all nice and shiny, it won't hurt you. You're not likely to damage it. You can always reset it to factory settings. Just have a play. Okay, thanks for watching. I'll see you again soon. Take care now.